Beginning, the Terran who shouldn't have been there. Lieutenant Alindra Varys preferred quiet mornings on Starbase Varelion 12, drifting through the observation ring while sipping synthesized nectar. The station was a Xyrillian facility, graceful, curved architecture, soft lighting, and most importantly, predictable routines. Humans had disrupted all of that. It had been only 3 cycles since Terrans were formally accepted into the Galactic Cooperative. Their biology was considered unstable, their psychology volatile, their instincts utterly unclassifiable. But Varelion 12 had been selected to host one of the first mixed-species ground units. And the moment Sergeant Marcus Hale stepped onto the station, Alindra suspected her peaceful routine was permanently dead. Humans carried themselves strangely, like apex predators forced to pretend they were safe. Hale was no exception. Tall, muscled, movements contained but coiled with potential energy. He had a calm demeanor, but his eyes never stopped scanning the room. Most species found humanity unsettling. Alindra found them confusing. She was assigned as his supervising liaison. Hale was assigned to the Joint Combat Division for cross-training. The Xyrillian trainees were terrified of him. And yet, 3 weeks later, Hale had become bizarrely popular, mostly because he told good stories and had the unsettling ability to eat the cafeteria's worst synthetic protein mix without dying. But today's training session would become the moment Alindra realized. Humans weren't just strange. They were terrifying. And somehow, endearing. The sparring incident. The session began normally. 3 Xyrillian warriors demonstrated defensive maneuvers. Hale watched with his hands behind his back, nodding politely. Then it was his turn to demonstrate a human counter-technique. Alindra stepped forward. Sergeant Hale, you may begin when... Crack. A blur of movement. A misjudged angle. A trainee overshot his strike. Hale blocked, twisted, and his forearm snapped. Everyone froze. The bone bent at a nauseating angle, clearly broken. The trainee shrieked and backed away. I didn't mean human, I didn't. Hale winced, holding his arm. Relax. I'm fine. You are not fine. Alindra shouted. Do not move. I'm calling medics. No. That'll take too long. Hale stepped back from her reaching hands. It's just a radius fracture. A what? She stared at him, bewildered. He sighed. Stand back. Hale, I order you. But he was already gripping his wrist. And then, with a sharp, brutal motion, he reset his own bone. The wet, sickening crack pop echoed off the arena walls. Alindra's vision narrowed to a tunnel. Her delicate Xyrillian nervous system couldn't handle such visceral brutality. Her tendrils curled. Her breath caught. Oh, stars no. And she collapsed. Straight backwards. Unconscious. Hale barely had time to mutter, hell, before rushing over to her. With one freshly realigned arm. Middle. The human who wouldn't stay in the medbay. Alindra awoke on a medical cot, surrounded by the soft hum of regeneration equipment. A shadow sat nearby. Hale. Awake. Alert. Arm wrapped but functional. You fainted again, he said with a sympathetic shrug. She groaned, placing a hand over her face. Again? This has happened before? You faint around blood. Bone stuff. Injury stuff. Pretty much anything that would make a human bite down and keep going. She sat up, cheeks flushing violet. I do not faint around anything. I fainted because you injure yourself in grotesque ways. It was an accident, he said earnestly. I just needed to put it back in place. That is not normal. Human normal, he corrected. Her tendrils twitched. Explain. And so he did. He told her about Earth's evolutionary path, the predators, the environment, The constant risk of death from everything, including weather, gravity, and occasionally house cats. We heal fast because we die a lot, he said. That sentence is horrifying. Yeah, he nodded. Evolution is metal. Alindra studied him, not his muscles or intimidating presence, but the sincerity. The way he spoke like none of this was extraordinary. To him, it wasn't. To Xyrillians, a broken bone required 2 weeks in stasis tanks. Humans? Apparently fixed it before lunch. The bond begins. Over the next weeks, the two spent nearly every day together. Not by choice, officially. Her role as liaison required it. But unofficially, Alindra found her gaze lingering too long. She found his stories fascinating. She found his resilience hypnotic. She found herself wanting to know why humans behaved the way they did, why they laughed when they were injured, why they sang in the gym at absurd hours. Hale, for his part, treated her with an ease she didn't expect. He didn't fear her position. He didn't tiptoe around cultural norms. He just existed, direct, honest, unfiltered. Xyrillians admired subtlety. Humans admired clarity. The contrast unsettled her, but it also intrigued her. One evening, while sitting at the observation deck, Hale pointed at the stars. You ever think, he said, maybe your people and mine don't understand each other yet because we assume incompatibility instead of possibility? Alindra tilted her head. You speak like a philosopher. Nah, he grinned. Just a guy who likes talking to you. Her hearts fluttered. She blamed low gravity. The attack. It happened at 0200 station time. A violent explosion rocked Varelion. 12. Sending lights flickering. Alindra leapt from her bed, grabbing her comm. Report. Cravor raiders, came the frantic reply. Docking clamps breached. They're boarding. The line cut. Alindra sprinted into the corridor, just in time to see Hale slamming into a Cravor warrior twice his size. The insectoid alien swung a serrated blade. Hale blocked it with his forearm. Crack. Another bone. Alindra screamed, Hale, don't. But he twisted, drove his knee up, forced his arm into alignment with the enemy's momentum. And with one swift motion, he slammed his forearm against a wall. Crack pop. Reset. Mid-fight. Alindra staggered. Stars preserve, human how? Later. Hale yelled. Take cover. She ignited her plasma lance and struck down a second raider. Together, they moved toward the command center. Hale fought like a creature forged for violence, taking blows that would kill most species, shrugging off impacts that should have shattered bone. Alindra found herself relying on him, not because she was weak, but because he was impossible. At the command bridge, they discovered the truth. The Cravor weren't raiding. They were conquering. A full-scale assault fleet loomed. Outnumbered and outgunned, the station was doomed. Unless Hale's insane idea worked. We blow the emergency coolant tanks, he said. Freeze their ships mid-orbit. That will damage the station. Not if we time it perfectly. You can't outrun a coolant burst. Wasn't planning to outrun it. Her face drained of color. Do not tell me your species has developed immunity to freezing. Nope, Hale said cheerfully. But I'm really fast. That is not a plan, but he was already moving. Hale sprinted toward the engineering sector with Alindra right behind him. Plasma fire lit the corridors. Raiders screeched. The station trembled under bombardment. At the generator core, they reached the coolant trigger. Alindra activated the override. Countdown set. 40 seconds. Hale grabbed her arm. Go. I am not leaving you. You have to. No, she said firmly, eyes blazing. We do this together. Hale stared at her. Really stared, seeing not the fragile, fainting lieutenant, but someone who had stood beside him from the beginning. His expression softened. "Okay," he whispered. Together, they hit the control. A blinding burst of sub-zero coolant detonated through the outer vents, engulfing the Cravor fleet. Their ships froze in orbit, engines locked solid. But the coolant burst was too fast. It swept back into the engineering corridor. Alindra felt her limbs going numb. Ice crystals formed on her skin. Hale pushed her into a maintenance shaft, shielding her completely with his body. The coolant rushed over him. He screamed as frost tore into his skin, freezing clothing to muscle. He did not move. He did not let go of her. And then, silence. The coolant dissipated. The alarm stopped. The station survived. But Hale collapsed. Alindra crawled out, trembling, and cradled his body. Marcus, stay awake." He breathed, barely. His voice was faint. "Hey, look at that, still alive." She felt tears burn her eyes. "You reckless, impossible human." He grinned weakly. "You like that about me." She wanted to argue. She couldn't. Ending. The name she gave him. Hale spent a full cycle in recovery. Humans healed fast, absurdly fast, but even they needed time after nearly becoming popsicles. Alindra visited every day. Sometimes she sat silently. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes she just watched him sleep, feeling things she didn't want to name. One day, as he was finally cleared to leave the medbay, she stood waiting outside the door. He stretched his newly healed arms. "Feels good to move." "I still do not believe your species is real," she muttered. "We are very real." "Too real." He laughed. "You fainted way less this time." "I adapted," she said proudly. He leaned closer. "Does that mean you'll keep working with me?" Her tendrils brightened. "It means I have already requested reassignment." His smile faltered. "Oh, you're leaving?" "No," she said, stepping closer. "I requested to remain your partner permanently." Hale blinked. "Wait, you what?" "You heard me." He broke into a grin so bright she felt warmth spread through her chest. "Well then," he said softly, "guess we're stuck with each other." She hesitated, then reached out and touched his arm gently, a Xyrillian gesture of deep trust. "In my language," she said, "there is a word for someone who changes your life by simply existing." "Yeah," he asked. "What's the word?" She looked up at him. "Hale." He froze. "That's my name." "It fits you." He swallowed. "So, what's the word mean?" "It means," she whispered, "the one who resets more than bones. The one who resets your entire understanding of the universe." He stared at her, speechless. She waited. Finally, he stepped closer. "Alindra?" "Yes. You reset something in me too." Her hearts fluttered wildly. And as the two walked down the corridor together, closer than ever, everyone on the station knew one thing. The lieutenant, who once fainted at human biology, had fallen for the impossible being who survived everything. And the human who could reset his own bones had finally found something he couldn't walk away from. Someone